What have you got to say for yourself after that crazy words you were speaking of Tomica? I know they like to show out of HQ Hot Wheels over there, and yeah, I'm 99% sure that this is an F40 coming our way. Worth getting into fights and pushing and shoving over a couple of die-cast cars, unless of course you've travelled all the way from Australia to pick up these, and then you should be at the front of the line. Released models with a mini finger.
Just a mini finger.
This episode contains turbulence caused by strong diecast opinions. Keep your hands and feelings inside the vehicle at all times.
Welcome back to the Diecast Podcast, episode number 13. My name's Matt, Mini Car Rel. To my left or to my right, whichever side you end up on, is Ben, Boy Racer Ben. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. Let's kick it straight off. Last week you were throwing out some wild accusations about Tomica Limited Vintage Neo. So let's right now play back that video.
Because one thing that I do get a little bit sceptical of with Tomica is their door gaps. I know we've spoken about it before. When they've got opening parts, they leave quite a large gap around those opening parts. Look, they definitely do a better job when it gets to the Limited Vintage Neo than the premium and the base models, but that's the only thing that sometimes makes me pass on a Limited Vintage Neo.
Okay, well, I challenge you to send me a picture of some outrageous gaps on a Limited Vintage Neo, because I know the premiums are terrible, but I can't actually think of any Limited Vintage Neos that have
challenge accepted.
Really Matt, bad. What have you got to say for yourself after that crazy words you were speaking of Tomica?
Mate, I did some research. I looked and I looked, and when I couldn't find anything, I thought I'm going to get a picture of a Tomica Limited Vintage Neo and run it through AI and give it some crazy door gaps. I couldn't even get a good image. I couldn't even get AI to produce a good image with some crazy door gaps. Everything just looked stupid. So I had to admit defeat. I thought I might be able to bring something, even if it was a fake something, to the table, but no, I was wrong. So you've won this round, mate. You've won this round.
I have, and I guess it's a win for Tomica as well. Tomica Limited Vintage. They're not gonna, just not going to be putting garbage out like the what you said they were going to be putting out there.
Well, the premium line is a whole different story, but look, the Tomica Limited Vintage Neo, faultless. I really tried hard to find an example, and I couldn't.
As you did, I saw on a reel recently. You just opened up the very sought after Ferrari F40 from Tomica.
I did.
What were your thoughts?
Love it. Yeah, it was a special car for me because one, I love the F40, but before it was re-released, it was just one of those cars that just kept going up and up and up in price. And I was like, one day I'm gonna put some money together and get one of these. It was sort of like that, piece that I had to have for the collection. So when it was re-released, mate, happy boy over here, got it at a retail price, and thrilled to add it to the collection.
Yeah, awesome piece. I think that first release, obviously the initial release in red, I think that was fetching around 400 plus Australian dollars. So I was much the same. The second release got that at retail, $100 Australian. I'm not sure if the prices have gone up at the moment, but I dare say they would. So I was super stoked to secure that one as well.
Yeah, I mean the good thing about finally getting one for the collection is I haven't looked to see what they're going for because I'm not interested in selling it and I'm not interested in buying another one. So yeah, I wouldn't have a clue. But look, thrilled to have that piece added to a few of the other TLVN Ferraris in the collection, and yeah, they really do an outstanding job. It's just a faultless model.
Yeah, anyway, should we kick the show off, mate? I'll start with Hot Wheels as we usually do. Not a lot going on, but with what has been popping up, might get you to run us through it.
Well, I would argue that there has been a bit going on. Obviously, we had the Mattel Revealed event recently, which is an annual event that Mattel put on, and we were looking forward to sort of seeing, generally there's a few bits and pieces that are announced at that event. The car of the event ended up being a Nissan Silvia S15 in a nice gold color with an anime visual down the side of it. And Naruto is the anime theme. Awesome packaging that they put together for it. Look, the only disappointment that I have with this thing is we can't buy it. We can't buy it here in Australia, so I'm watching prices go absolutely crazy online. For those that do have the American address, the prices are already fetching $200-$300, which is, it's disappointing that we couldn't just order this one from Mattel. But I'm under the understanding that it's a licensing issue with the actual anime character, but that hasn't been confirmed. That's just what I've been told. But yeah, disappointing. I quite like this one. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, I saw a lot of people on the Australian sites, crying about it. Obviously not available to us here in Australia. You're right, packaging is super nice. It is a good looking car. I think we talked about it earlier off camera, but I've got no connection to this anime Naruto show. If it had been, say, Dragon Ball Z, Goku on the side, a little bit more of a connection there. We talked about theme cars a couple of episodes ago, and anime themed, apart from Hello Kitty, doesn't really do it for me that much. Yes. And when you look at it, this one was retailing for $40 Australian. Yeah. It is a standard premium S15 in a gold color. It's a semi sort of Spectraflame looking gold, but does it warrant 5 times the retail price? It's a bit of nice packaging that costs an extra $2. In my opinion, no, bit of a cash grab, but I mean that that's what I guess Mattel's about at the moment with these kind of products, isn't it? And plenty of people are willing to buy it, so why wouldn't you?
Yeah. And look, it's if they can create enough hype around something, they can ask it. They can ask those sort of dollars, and I think this one's got that hype. So yeah, look. That's the Silvia. Barely warrants any more conversation with the fact that we can't get it here. But
it'd almost be a genius marketing hack, wouldn't it? If you just eliminate a lot of countries that you can sell it to every so often, just to build up that extra bit of hype. And
I did wonder,
people are going crazy for it. Yeah.
I did wonder because it almost makes you want it more. The fact that you can't get it.
It does.
And I'm sure there's some genius marketing gurus over there at Mattel. Maybe the old, that's not licensed for Australia, so we can't sell it over there. Line is just pure marketing ploy to drive those prices higher. But then the other thing that I think with that is that, Mattel's not the one getting that secondary market money. They're only getting the first time they sell it. So,
I mean, it gets everyone talking about it, though, doesn't it? We're talking about it right now, so
absolutely.
You know what they say about publicity.
Yeah, spot on. Look, what was good is there was a few little sneak peeks of bits and pieces that Mattel have got in the pipeline. We've sort of been hanging out ever since the Pandem R32 RC car was announced. When will we see Hot Wheels do another RC car? There was a sneak peek of some packaging prior to the Mattel Revealed event of a Lamborghini Temerario. I believe that's how it's pronounced. And it looked as though it was an RC car. And at the Mattel Revealed event, there was some sneak peeks, some very close-up images of what would definitely be the Lamborghini Temerario. And it certainly looks like that will be the next RC car. Always hard to tell these days with the amount of AI images getting around, but this one looks like it actually is legit. What was your thoughts?
I think take the Pandem R32 RC and divide the hype by 50%, and I just can't see this one, getting as much hype around it as they did with the R32 Pandem. I
agree.
I think with the RC cars, I think they need to be a little bit more on the game with the models that they release to keep the hype about them. There has been hints of a Ferrari coming in the future. So I think, sticking along the Ferrari line, obviously, if they choose the right one, there's going to be a lot of hype behind that. So I can't see this Lamborghini being hyped up anywhere near as much as the Panda. I'm not interested in it. I think the RC excitement probably, will start dying down once a few models are released anyway.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that there'll certainly be some people that missed the 32 RC car that really wanted one. So they'll pick up a few sales that way. But I agree with you. I don't think that there's going to be as much hype as there was with the R32. And that's fair, because the R32 was the first RC that we've seen from Hot Wheels for at least for some time. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what else they do. I think a Ferrari would certainly be a cool one. I didn't get the 32, and I'm keen on picking up one of these RCs at some point. Don't think the Lamborghini's for me though, personally. But anyway, I think it will probably still sell out. There's enough people that missed out on getting an RC car. I reckon that it'll still go pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think, some people that aren't in touch with the market, I think, there might be a few scalpers that try to pick it up, but I can't see this one selling for too much more than retail on the secondary market.
No, I agree.
Time will tell, but yeah, I can't see this being a massive one.
I don't even think that the Panda 32 has gone too crazy. It's certainly more expensive on the secondary market now, but it's not crazy expensive. I think I've seen them on Facebook Marketplace and things like that, still sealed $200, which is not as crazy as I probably expected it to go.
Yeah, I can't recall the retail price of those. I think they were under 100 though, weren't they?
I think they were. I reckon it might have been 100 to your door here in Australia. $80 for the car plus postage. So for that to be double or less than double at a secondary market price is not that crazy, considering you can't buy them anywhere else. You can't still buy them from Mattel, etc. So look, I think like anything, Mattel releases a new product or even a new product line, and that first one especially, people go crazy for. Anyway, it looks like there's a second one on their way. Elite 6.4, we've spoken about that a fair bit lately. We're pretty confident the Porsche that we saw in the Advan livery is going to be re-released. So it looks like you're on the money as far as a casting being re-released. This time in the PlayStation livery, which is a fairly famous livery. Just a few sort of close-up images of bits of the car. We haven't seen too many pictures of the entire car from different angles. But what were your thoughts on that, mate?
Back in the early 2000s, massive PlayStation fan, played Gran Turismo on, PS2. So yeah, I'm all over this one. I really actually want this one. I missed the Advan one, so I'm super keen on picking this one up, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, look, I'm the same, which is it's a no-brainer. I like my Elite 6.4 line, but yeah, this one I'm very keen on. I love the PlayStation livery. It's a really, really cool touch. Outside of that, the only other thing that we saw coming out of the Mattel Revealed event was some sneak peeks of a premium model of the Nissan Skyline R32, the Tokyo Auto Salon with the shark nose. We've spoken about it a few times on the podcast. It looks like Hot Wheels will be releasing that soon. This looks like a fully finished model.
Yeah, just in a premium, the Liberty Walk R32, the R34 Silhouette, the S15 Silhouette, and I guess you'd almost call this the R32 Silhouette, I think. I don't know if it's officially been named that, but I think this one's going to be pretty popular. The pictures don't really do it justice though, do they? I'm looking forward to seeing this one in the flesh. I'll be picking it up regardless, but yeah, I'm not 100% sold on this one yet. I don't think it lives up to the R34 Silhouette and the S15 Silhouette, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I agree with you. I love Liberty Walk, and I like this 32. The only thing that I was critical of in the pictures that I saw of this one was the wing. The wing looks very plasticky and I don't know, just doesn't look quite right for me. I think that, for a Hot Wheels Premium, they've done a fairly good job, elsewhere on the car, I thought, but yeah, that was the only thing I thought looked a bit off.
Yeah, sweet. Moving on to the RLC range, we've had a sneak peek of a Dodge Challenger, drag spec, parachute on the back. Engine details look really good. You can see the supercharger on top. They are picking the game up when it comes to the engine details. This one's in a candy pink Spectraflame, black roof, black bonnet, black boot. Don't love the pink. I do like the fact they've done the drag look. And I'm not 100% sold on the parachute on the back either. I think this will be a bit of a hit in the US. I like it. I think in another colour, I could have my arm twisted to pick this one up, even with the parachute on the back, but it'll have to be a nice colour to get me.
Yeah, so the pink's off the table, but you'd go for a different colour.
To tell you the truth, give it to us in a pure metallic midnight black, blacked out. They do the odd black RLC, but you don't see them too often.
Yeah, not too often. I agree with you. I think they've done a very good job. Engine detail's probably the standout for me. I'm the same. I probably wouldn't go for it in pink. I think the parachute sort of adds to the look of the car because it does look very much like a drag spec. It's got the big fat slicks on the back and things like that. The only other thing that stood out for me was the Demon badges on the side look quite good. Obviously, they're just stickers, but overall, great package.
No, the more I think about it, yeah, do it in a jet gloss black, like a midnight blacked out. I think that'd absolutely go off. And, I know Mattel listen to us. They love listening to the show. So, yeah, be prepared, guys. The idea is in their head.
It is. I could also go a red, but I doubt they'd do a red straight after pink.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a red being done.
Actually, you know what would look really good?
Yellow.
So in this of the genuine colours from the manufacturer, they do a really nice green. I don't know if you've seen the green that they do, but I'd definitely cop it in that green for sure.
Yeah, even a burnt orange.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still going with the midnight drag
black
car.
Would be good.
Yeah, for sure.
On the RLC train, Mattel revealed we got no indication of what it will be. We just got a Redline badge and a Ferrari badge and a coming soon. So that'll be interesting. Yet to what do you think? What do you think, mate? What do you think it'll be?
Oh, mate. I was talking about it long ago about our RLC F40. I'm just going to start manifesting it. That's what I want. And will they do it? Will they do it? What do you think? I don't think they will, but I want them to.
We know they've done an F40 casting since the relicense with Ferrari, but they haven't done it in a premium. They haven't done it, they've only done it in a basic, right? So, look, if you're going to do the F40, RLC would be nice. However, a little part of me, the skeptic in me, goes, I bet they do something that no one saw coming. Kind of like they did with the initial, what was it, the GT car or GP car or whatever it was, that first RLC, the box set with the two cars in it, that when they first announced, everyone was sort of like, oh, can't wait, F40s and Testarossas and F50s and they might even do an Enzo. Oh, this is so good. And then they dropped that and everyone was like, oh, cool. But that's not what we thought you would do first. So who knows with Mattel? They obviously there would be a long process of approvals with Ferrari. So whatever they have planned has probably been planned for a very long time. And the fact that we got no images would tell me that it's still not approved, or there's still work to be done. But anyway, we will continue to hold our breaths until this is announced, I suppose. What other choice do we have? But I'm
calling it. No, I'm calling it. Like I said, I know they love the show. I know they love the show out of HQ Hot Wheels over there. And yeah, I'm 99% sure that this is an F40 coming our way.
Look,
I'm not looking forward to fighting everyone online, metaphorically fighting everyone online to pick one up.
Not wrong. Hey, look, I doubt they even had another Ferrari red line planned until they listened to the podcast and we talked about doing an F40.
Yeah. I mean, you'd hate to think it, but they need to produce a lot more than what they did with the RWB until,
got to.
you know, if they did do an F40, are they going to try and keep it, you know, the hype around it and not, because they know that it's going to be a massive one. And I hate to think of the resale price on an F40 if only 20% of the people that want it actually manage to pick it up.
If they did an F40, I can't imagine any Hot Wheels collector being like, nah, pass. That'd be few and far between. Few and far between. Surely, if they did enough of them, they would sell that many memberships. Yeah, I don't know. Surely
You're
they'd do more.
Justifying the reason for this to be an F40 right now as well. So
yeah, spot on.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, it will be an F40. We've already,
the way to do it would be to put pre-orders up. That would be the way to do it to keep
100%.
the collector happy.
100%.
Otherwise, they're going to make a lot of angry collectors out there, including an angry Boy Racer Ben and Mini Car Realm Matt.
We will be very disappointed if there is finally an F40 and, we miss out after we gave them the idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Speaking of the RLCs, though, the last car that we saw was the Cobra, which, we were waiting on for quite some time. We've discussed it a few times on the podcast, and you said, look, I like it, but I wanted a different colour, so I'm going to wait for that. I was on the fence, but when it got to the day where it was going to be released, I decided, nah, I'm going to get it. I don't have an AC Cobra in the collection. I really like this one. I'm going to order it. So I was very pleased to see that Mattel Creations Australian site listed it. They don't list every single RLC model. So I was pumped. It was for a reasonable price, I thought, $39.99 Australian. So I was looking forward to it. The day came, the time came. I was stuck in a meeting at work. Managed to get out 10, 15 minutes after it went for sale and it was sold out. So very disappointed. So then I looked at the US site. It was going to go live that night. And I noticed the price was different. It was $45. And I was going to have to pay postage on top of that from the US, which would take me out to $75. And at that was the point where I went, no, now I'm not going to get it. Too much. So a couple of things annoyed me with this, like, why is the price different? I don't know. I didn't understand that. And then I was talking to Wayne from Pop Race UK. We spoke about him on the last episode, and there is a Mattel Creations UK page, and he was interested in getting the AC Cobra as well. And I said, how much did it cost you out of interest? Because for some reason the Australian site was different to the US site. And they had a different price as well. So it ended up being $59.99, including postage to get it from the Australian site, $71.90 Australian, including tax and postage to get it in the UK, and $75 in the US, including tax and postage. Obviously, to ship it to Australia, cheaper if you're buying it in the US. But I just thought, why is there so much inconsistency with the price? But that's not where it ends. On the Australian site, it says that it will ship before the end of March. On the UK site, it just says it's a pre-order. No shipping date is stated on the UK site. And the US site says you'll be waiting until July. I don't understand the discrepancy between March and July. So I don't know whether they just did like an early batch of samples and the Australians ones are cheaper, because, it's just that's the throw-out ones, and that's why you get them straight away. I don't know what the deal is. But anyway, I didn't get one in the end. I just thought that was really bizarre, how that has been marketed across all three. And please, Mattel Australia, please get more RLCs in. I don't think I've seen a single one that's sat there on the site. They all seem to sell out pretty fast, so I don't think we're getting enough of them. But anyway, what were your thoughts, mate?
I mean, it's wild that it was $40 in Australia and $45 from the US. You know, there'd be less getting shipped to Australia, so you'd think the shipping would cost more to get it a fewer amount to Australia than getting it to the US and then sending it back across.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to be $5 more expensive from the US. There is no explanation to this.
No, it's just bizarre. It's the first time I've ever noticed it. But now I'm thinking, are they always different prices?
Well, something that we're going to be keeping a close eye on, and might be making a few nasty phone calls, trying to get a bit of accountability in the future potentially. So someone else is on watch this week as well.
Well, what I'm concerned about now, Ben, is that our numbers will be further pilfered by people going, well, the Australian site is the place to get them cheap. So, they're going to have to order more because there'll be people from all over the world ordering from Australia now because that's the cheapest place to buy them. Also the quickest. If you want them in hand quicker, get it from Australia, apparently. I don't know. So bizarre. But anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up on the podcast. I think that's all the Hot Wheels goss though. We said not much, but there's a few bits and pieces.
Yeah, we harped on there for a while, didn't we, in the end? Before we move on to some of the more premium brands, our Mini GTs, pop races, we have seen a show on in Shenzhen in China, the Cool Car Show, it's called. So there's been a fair bit coming out over there. Apparently, I've heard a few rumours it's been a bit crazy. GCD, one of the brands, apparently had to shut their booth down on the second day due to fighting and people cutting the queues. So I believe they've shut their store down, stopped releasing the event exclusive models, and potentially they're just going to get sold off online now, which is absolutely wild. And I heard it could have been a similar situation with Mini GT. I think they may have had to have shut their booth down as well due to a lot of issues with the crowds and crowd control and that sort of thing. So
it's insane.
The scalper world, the hype for these things and diecast at the moment, it's absolutely just gone nuts, and it's not worth getting into fights and pushing and shoving over a couple of diecast cars, unless, of course, you've travelled all the way from Australia to pick up these, and then you should be at the front of the line.
100%. Well, I mean, I'm sure that the other scalpers there would say, hey, are you from Australia? I remember going to the US and went to like a Six Flags, and people in the line would be like, hey, are you from Australia? And I'd say, yeah, I am. And they'd be like, oh, go in front of us. And then the next people in front of us would say the same thing. And we would shoot through the line like really fast. It was awesome. So I imagine it'd be the same at Diecast Expos in China. But that is crazy. That is crazy. Look, I can only imagine that it is not normal behaviour. It's the result of GCD releasing that DAD Diamante truck. We'll talk about it a bit later in the podcast, but I'm sure that's the culprit.
Yeah. Anyway, let's kick it off with Mini GT. We've seen another release of, it looks like 7 cars.
7 cars, yes. Changing it up.
This month, yeah. Chucking an extra one in. We saw the re-release of Roxy, and we've now got the re-release of Rexy to match. Why wouldn't you do it? It's a super popular model. A lot of people missed out on it. So, yeah.
Well, this is Rexy number 3.
It is Rexy number 3. Yes. So, but we were due for, now that the hype's built up even more around these Rexys and Roxys, we needed another one. Mini GT needed a bit of a cash cow, and the collector needs it as well, so you can't blame them.
Absolutely. Look, before we go into the others, is it something that because you've already got a Rexy from Mini GT, haven't you?
I do, yeah.
So will you get a different variant?
I don't need it, but I'll get it.
Okay.
Who doesn't like Rexy?
Well, look,
it is very similar. I think the teeth are different, and it's got in the claw, it's got something in the graphic on the claw.
Yeah, it's like a mobile one oil bottle.
Yeah, an oil bottle, yeah.
Yeah. Braces on the teeth, a few other bits and pieces as well. Tyre riding all the way around the tyre versus just a section of the tyre. Yeah, minor changes. I won't get another one. I got the original Rexy, got the original Roxy. Didn't order the second Roxy and Rexy that came out, and I won't order the third. To be honest, one is enough for me. I'm not just not going to buy into the hype personally.
Yeah, well, I guess you know me. When I like a car, I do buy multiples of it. You've seen it with Pop Race especially. The thing I didn't like about the Roxy, I didn't get the re-release of the Roxy because it had a different color mirrors. I think it had red mirrors. Red, yeah, as opposed to the original green mirrors. And the green mirrors looked really good. I wasn't huge on the red and pink combo, whereas the green and pink combo looked quite good together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will be picking this one up. The 6 other releases, we did see a Camel Land Rover. So we've got another Land Rover Camel, which is cool. I do like the Camels. I actually don't like the 2-door one as much. This one is probably my least favorite Camel. So I'm not 100% sure I'll be picking this one up, especially if I do pick up the 5-pack that's coming out in the future. We've got the second release of the 180SX Liberty Walk.
Yes.
I like the colour a little more on this one. It's a very, it's given me Luck of the Irish vibes, even though it's probably Chinese symbols on the roof. But
I feel like it's a reverse, like it's a flip of the first livery.
I think it is, yeah. We've got a red Mustang Dark Horse, and of course we've got the Liberty Walk R32 Silhouette that we just talked about that Hot Wheels is doing as well. This one looks a lot better, obviously, a lot more refined, premium. That one looks quite good, actually. I'll definitely be picking up that Liberty Walk R32. What else did we have, mate?
We had another Liberty Walk model, another Abarth 595. This one was triplet livery, the Thai edition. I'm not sure what the reference is there, some sort of branding. But yeah, a green over gold over white. And then the last one we had was a BMW M Hybrid, so hypercar from the BMW team. So, that rounds out our 7. So you are going to get a Rexy, and you liked the 32, 180. Can you get a 180?
I'm on the fence. I think I'll still wait for a colour that I really like a little bit more than that one. So I think I'll pass on that one. I do want to get a Dark Horse at some stage, just because I know we trash Mustangs a lot, but Dark Horse is a pretty iconic Mustang. I think I'll wait for a better colour than red though. And I think that's probably it. So I'll probably only looking at the 2. Actually, now that I'm looking at it a bit closer, the R32 and the Rexy.
Yeah, no, fair. Look, for me, it was the 3 Liberty Walk models, but when I went to purchase them, for whatever reason, that Abarth is a stupid price. Don't know why. I don't understand it, but anyway, it's a stupid price, so I didn't order that one. But I just got the 180 and the 32. There's obviously some sort of significance to the Abarth that is missed on me. I've got some of the Abarth Liberty Walk models already, so yeah, the two will do it for me out of this release.
Yeah, right. No, perfect. I think we saw at the Cool Car Show in Shenzhen. Is that where the 2 BMW race cars were released?
Yeah, the fist ones. Yeah, yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not actually 100% sure on the what model BMW these are.
I think it's M4. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, potentially. M4. Probably call them a M4 GT.
Oh, definitely like a GT3 type spec.
GT3 spec, yeah, for sure. It is in a twin pack. Personally, don't love the M4. Not huge on a lot of the BMW race cars. I think a lot of people were going crazy for these.
Super
personally,
hyped.
Yeah.
Super hyped.
I've got a white one and a blue one, but they don't stand out for me personally.
Look, I think they're cool. I don't understand the hype. It's obviously lost on me again. I think they look good. I won't order them. Didn't run out to order them. But yeah, there's a lot of hype around them. I don't understand the hype, but yeah, there is hype.
Yeah, I mean that if they're event models, they're going to be hard to get regardless. So
True.
we'll be paying a premium for
True.
them. I guess on that we better move on to Kaido because we've seen another 4 of your favourites from Kaido, and I'm going to call it now. You are picking up every single one of these Kaido House cars.
Yes, mate. I will. Look, we had another Kaido Star. This time with a police livery. So we had the lights on the roof, the black and white. We've got an EF Civic in the Kaido Sports livery. We've seen this livery on the NSX before, orange with the black Kaido down the side. We've got an R34 with the HKS livery and a R33 with and they called it a black Kaido cat livery, which to me looked very NASCAR-ish. It has the webbing in the window and a few bits and pieces like that. So, look, out of those 4, for me, the R33 was the standout. I really liked the 33. Obviously loved the HKS as well. Always a big fan of picking up all the HKS models. Look, I will order all 4, but the maybes for me, or the ones that I wasn't as crazy about, the EF Civic, obviously we've seen that a few times now. This just was boring. Yeah, because we've seen the livery before, I suppose, and we've seen the casting before, so it didn't feel like anything special. And then the Kaido Star was cool. I've actually been really hyped with the police cars in each of the castings, but I'm not a huge fan of the pink wheels. I'll get it, but yeah, I don't know what the deal is with the pink wheels. I mean, I know Junamai loves pink. It's one of his favourite colours. He's said that a few times on live streams and things like that, but yeah, anyway, just the pink against the police car didn't really make sense for me, but hey, that's the whole Kaido thing. Do something different. What were your thoughts?
I'm going to keep it simple here, going to keep it quite fast. Those lightning exhausts on that Kaido Star look hideous. The Civic, it's very plain to me as well. Orange, nothing special happening there for the Civic. HKS, it's a tough one because I have stated it before, don't love the R34 casting from Kaido, but I do love the HKS liveries, and I think I've got most of them. Has the Nissan Fairlady Z been done in HKS yet? I don't think it has.
Yes.
It has been? It has. I actually refused to buy that one, so maybe I can refuse. That's actually talking me into opening me up to refusing another HKS casting.
You stubborn man.
So it's actually a tough one because I do really like the R34 police car in the livery that it's in. So I think the livery might be enough to get me over the line with this R34. So I'm going to say I'm going to take it. And I really liked the meshing, that NASCAR meshing. Like you said, that's the first thing that stood out. It's just cool. It's different. I don't mind the livery. The livery looks quite good. I don't love the car, but it's kind of unique. I like the yellow lettering on the wheels. I think I'm just going to get it. I think I don't have a lot of R33s. I think I've actually only got the HKS R33. So, yeah, why not? I'll pick that one up as well and make it my second R33 casting from Kaido. So 50% hit
50%
from Kaido.
Hit
wow.
For a boy racer Ben. That's unheard of. Mate, while we're still on Kaido House, they have announced finally the 28th of March. So by the time this episode comes out, it would have happened already. But the DGK second event. So we saw the R34 in the DGK livery this time we know we're getting an AE86. We've already seen the car, but we just weren't sure when that was going to land. So that's coming right up. So pretty keen on that. Hopefully they don't go for crazy money like the R34 did.
Yeah. Hopefully.
But, fingers crossed. For no reason, because it will go for crazy money. But anyway, moving on to your favourite blokes around the diecast scene, Pop Race. We saw some juicy stuff from Pop Race. Do you want to take us through?
We did, yeah. Obviously, we had the SuperCon in Las Vegas, a bit of a diecast show happening. They did have another RWB Porsche in chrome, very similar to what we saw in Vancouver, but just in a plain silver chrome colour. And it looks really, really good. I think we may have managed to pick ourselves up one of these thanks to Pop Race UK again, hooking us up. But yeah, wait till we have them in hand. But yeah, it's very similar to the purple one. We've also seen a bit of a collaboration with American Diorama and Pop Race, and we've got another RWB Porsche released just as a standard release. So everyone can pick this one up, but it's very similar to Mini GT, how they've released models with a mini finger, mini figure.
Just a mini finger.
But yeah, so yeah, we've got it. We've got the Apple livery, the Macintosh Apple livery, very popular RWB livery. So I absolutely cannot wait to get this release. It looks so good.
It really, really, really does.
It does.
If I hadn't already ordered any RWBs from Pop Race, just happened to have got them all, this would definitely have pushed me over the line. I was eyeing this livery off on the RWB actually from PGM. They did this livery, and I was eyeing it off like, I really want one. No, I don't want to pay that much. Well, I didn't have to pay that much in the end because Pop Race have come to the party. And you got that American Diorama minifig, which is iconic, cigarette in mouth. He's got his what is it, a torque wrench or whatever he's got in his hand. Looks awesome. Great collaboration, I reckon. Look forward to seeing hopefully more from American Diorama and Pop Race in the future.
Look, and I'm just trying to think who it was. I think it was I'm going to call it, I could be wrong, but there was another preview from Shenzhen at the Cool Car Show, and someone else is doing an Apple Porsche, and I think it may have been Tarmac Works.
Okay.
Had one as a sample. Don't quote me on that. It could be Inu 64. It was Inu or Tarmac. I can't remember. But obviously the Pop Race does have the opening rear end to reveal the engine, and it comes with the mini finger. So it's a no-brainer.
It really is. It really is. Yeah, no, this was, this got me proper with the FOMO.
Yes.
As soon as it was released, I was like, got to quickly order one, because this will sell out. Everyone will be just as hype as I am about this. But look, being a regular release, I think it was pretty safe to say that we were gonna get one. But awesome model.
So yeah, the last couple of months we've been going Pop Race crazy with RWBs, just all four of them, just massive hits, loving them. Another release from Pop Race, we've seen the Ken Merry released in a plain white livery. Doesn't do it for me that much. I've got a few other Ken Marys.
The same.
Yeah, so I don't need this one. If I didn't have a Ken Merry, yes, but I've got quite a few already.
I also thought that the black guards on it were, like, obviously they are black on most of the models, but yeah, just against the white, they looked more like blobbish on the side.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, they are black on every single one of the models because that's just how the car comes in real life. Have seen the car in real life in Japan, and the guards are made out of a different sort of material, and that's just how they come. But yeah, they do look slightly bigger. We've also seen the last car we saw released, which is another one I'm super excited about, is the Honda DC5 Mugen. I do quite like the DC5 Integra. So we've got another Mugen, very similar to what we've seen with the DC2, and very happy to see it in just a plain white color. The engine on this one looks really good as well. They've got the the K series engine in there, and yeah, it looks very realistic, very good. Brake calipers again on this one, I believe. So Pop Race is stepping it up and adding a few brake calipers and rotors to cars now, which is really cool to see. Thoughts on the Mugen?
Yeah, so this is obviously in a very similar or almost exactly the same style as that DC2, isn't it? The same wheels and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, they look good together, as I said.
Yeah. Are you a Mugen fan?
Look, I'm not a huge Honda fan, really. Look, yeah, I don't run out and grab Hondas. NSX, I like, and Civics. But that's about where it ends for me. I haven't really ever been a huge Integra or Accord or the other Hondas. So yeah, look, I'll probably pass on the DC5. But it does look. I agree, it does look really nice.
Yeah, I mean, those that don't know, Mugen is a parts manufacturer. They tune Honda engines. Mugen was created by the son of the Honda founder. So the son of Honda actually created the company Mugen. So his dad started and he thought, I'm going to start tuning dad's engines. So yeah, bit of a cool backstory behind that one, but that is what Mugen is all about.
Yeah, look, I feel like Pop Race is doing a really good job of bringing some of these customizers and various different parts manufacturers to the forefront. Brands like Pandem, not that Pandem needed any help from Pop Race per se, but they've certainly made the Pandem brand as famous or as mainstream as like Liberty Walk and brands like that. And I would argue that Pandem wasn't that mainstream before. And then they've certainly done a lot for Spoon. And then now we're seeing, brands like Mugen, RWB, etc. as well. RW obviously already had plenty of hype, but I like it. I like it. It's a part of the automotive scene that I really enjoy, is all that custom side of things.
That's right. I think you and me are very similar. We're both like, very big sort of car guys, and I think that contributes to our diecast collecting. Some people there's two types of diecast collectors. There's people that love cars, and there's people that just like collecting toys, I guess, as well, that don't know a lot about cars, and a lot of it's just based around hype. But you love a good story behind a diecast car.
Story. I
like the culture behind it, especially around the Japanese sort of style. But
spot on.
Something else we've seen, not from Pop Race, but from X Car Toys. We saw a sample of this recently, but it has just been released in color, and this is the RX-7 opening hood from X Car Toys. And this has got the removable, you can't see it in the pictures, they haven't displayed it, but you can see the headlights up on one and headlights down on the other. It is one model. The headlights are interchangeable. You can pull the whole piece out and replace the headlights to go up or down. Obviously, if you like an RX-7, you like the headlights up, and you're going to be running it headlights up all the time, but still a cool little feature.
A cool feature. It's an interesting feature as well. They've gone that way of sort of like a removable piece versus obviously, we've seen numerous other brands now with the switch underneath where we can actually raise the headlights. It's definitely a different approach.
Yeah, and we've talked about X Car Toys in a few previous episodes about them just sort of stepping outside the boundaries of what's normally done in diecast, and they're doing a really good job at it. So, look forward to seeing what they come up with.
Yeah, some cool things going on with X Car Toys. The next one we had in the lineup was Tarmac Works. Now, the big news coming out of Tarmac Works is that traditionally, when you buy a Tarmac Works model today, you will get it in a box, similar to Kaido House, Pop Race, Mini GT, etc. And that's always been perfectly fine for me. But now they have decided to go a similar direction to what we've seen from the likes of Mini GT with a card. That's what you refer to it as, a card. As an alternative packaging option.
Blister.
Blister, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Ben. It's like you know a lot about diecast or something. It's good. It's good having you on the show. Anyway, what's your thoughts, Ben, on that? Before we dive into their releases, will you be getting boxes still, or will you get blisters?
Look, mate, the Mini GT blisters, I don't really go for. You're very similar to me. We're loose collectors.
Correct.
If I get one that I really, really love. And perfect example of this was the Ken Mary Tokyo Auto Salon piece. That is in a blister, and I have that in a display in a Koval box. Apart from that, just give them to me in boxes because I'm throwing the boxes out. I'm unboxing them. They're going on display. Yeah, I don't care for blisters, to tell you the truth, unless it's just a really nice piece that I want to display, which is very rare.
Yeah, look, the only blisters that I keep, I've got the Mini GT ones behind me, the 3 from Mizu. That was a nice set. So I thought they looked good, kept together, all sort of a themed artwork across them. On this side here, I've got, 2 from Larry Chen that are signed. I guess there's a reason behind those ones, but generally speaking, it's just extra packaging that I've got to fill my bin with. So I thought this was a strange move from Tarmac, but at the same time, I also understand that blisters are a fairly big thing in the US. And in talking to various different people, that seems to be the preference over there. For me, give me a box all day. Anyway, nonetheless.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be doing it on every model. I thought maybe they'll just do selected models, but it looks like it will be every model, similar to, I guess, Mini GT. I think they do it on every model.
Anyway, let's run through the releases. We had a Urus Skyline ER34. This is the 4-door, I believe. So quite cool. I thought this was pretty nice. It's like a nice blue color. We also had a HKS Toyota GR86 black and white livery. That was quite cool. We had another John Siebel Toyota GR Corolla wide body. This one is in more of like a retro Toyota type livery. Another addition to the J collection. So we saw that old school Celica in the J collection in the last time we spoke about the Tarmac releases. This one is a R34 GTR, and it looks like it's in like a gold sort of color. I don't know if that's the Millennium Jade, but anyway, gold sort of colour. We also saw an Aston Martin DBS Superleggera in the classic Aston Martin colour, a Ford Mustang GTD in blue. We had a Porsche 911 Carrera RS 2.7 in a yellow. We had a Porsche 928S with an old school Recaro livery. This is done up as like a safety car. And then finally, we had a Koenigsegg Agera RS, and this one's in a blue with orange highlights. Anything that caught your fancy from the latest Tarmac releases?
Absolutely nothing. I mean, the only one, it is a new tooling, the R34 4-door. I don't have a 4-door R34 in my collection. I don't mind the sort of baby sky blue color that it's in, so... If that one, I won't go out of my way, but if that one pops up in front of me, I think I might grab that one, just being new casting. We will see a few more colours in that, though, as well. So maybe just standard white, something that, you're more likely to see white or silver driving down the street might appeal to me a little bit more. But yeah, not a lot, again, from Tarmac on this front. The things that did catch my eye are the things we're going to talk about from the show in Shenzhen.
Yes.
But yeah, from that standard release of, I think, what did we have? I think about 10 cars there, didn't we? Yeah, not a lot grabbing me. How about yourself?
Look, I'm pretty keen to get one of these Toyota Corolla wide bodies. I want to look at a few more pictures of this particular one before I make a decision on that. But I passed on that first one. I am a big fan of the John Siebel wide body series that they've been doing. Bought all the others, so. Maybe that's a maybe for me, but that's about it for me as far as the Tarmac releases that caught my eye.
Another one that we saw, I don't know when this has been released, but the R34 Super Silhouette Liberty Walk from Tarmac. I think this will be the first release when it comes out, but it's in an Advan livery. Looks quite good in my opinion. Did they do an Advan in Mini GT? I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head.
No, they're just that classic red.
I think this one looks quite good. I think very similar to the Advan R35 that Tarmac has done. This one, I guess this one's matching the Advan R35 Liberty Walk. If I get the R35 in Advan, I might have to get this one as well. And I'm hoping again that will roll because, this one looks quite good. What do you think? You're a fan of this one?
I agree with you. Yeah. Look, I think it does look really good. Maybe for me. To be honest, when it comes to Tarmac from Liberty Walk, we've discussed this at length, but just for me personally, I probably won't pick up many of them I've collected a lot of mini GT Liberty Walks, and I'll be pretty keen to just keep that consistency of, mini GT models, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess that perfectly leads us into the Liberty Walk Silhouette Lamborghini Miura from Tarmac Works. We were talking about this earlier on in the week, and I was kind of thinking, I don't think anyone's created a 164 model of the Liberty Walks Miura until now. I could be wrong there.
Don't believe
Definitely
so.
not at the lower price point. But we've got a resin model here from Tarmac Works. I'm sure more brands will do it. But yeah, I think if this is the first brand to do this one, I have a feeling you're going to have to grab this one. So you might just be biting your words and what you've just said then.
Yeah, look, I would like to think that Mini GT will do it at some point, but if they don't, 100%, I will pick up the Tarmac one. Love the Lamborghini Miura, and I love that Liberty Walk were ballsy enough to rip one apart and do what they did. So, really cool to see Tarmac Works, leading the way with that. I agree with you. I haven't seen it from anyone else. I think it's just when I say that I'm not going to pick up too many Liberty Walks from Tarmac, only because a lot of them will be repeated liveries and things that I've already got. So,
of course,
certainly if there's something unique like the Miura, for sure, I'll pick it up. I like my Tarmac models.
Yep, we've seen a few resin models from Tarmac at the show as well. RWB, so it seems everyone's hitting RWB at the moment.
Yep.
A lot of RWBs everywhere. Inu's doing them as well. Yeah, there's probably a handful that I could list that are doing it. Another resin model we saw is the R32, I guess, Silhouette again that we've talked about from other brands. So Tarmac Works has got this one coming up. I guess with this one, this is probably one I'll grab the Mini GT one and not bother too much on this one. But hey, they'll probably do an advan in that as well to match the other two. So if I get all the advans, I'm going to need it.
So that probably leads us into another brand that's flogging the RWBs of late. They had a few event exclusives for the Diecast Supercon. Two RWBs, both in like a chrome. So they look quite good. Not something that I will run out to spend crazy money on. I think the Pop Race one was sufficient as far as a chrome RWB. And I know that the Pop Race one will roll, whereas I doubt the ones will. But anyway, we've seen a few other bits and pieces from as well.
Yeah, 6 standard releases from Inu. We've got the Mazda 787B in the blue and white racing livery. And we've talked about this in the past. Are they a bit late to the party with Pop Race? They're removable pieces. It does have removable front and rear, so I don't think we need to go into that too much more. Depends on your preference in brand.
Yeah.
We've got the RX-7 Liberty Walk. This is in a white and pink color. I actually don't mind the color combo they've put on this one, and I don't have an Inu or a Liberty Walk RX-7 from Mini GT either, so I actually don't mind it with the pink trimmings over the bonnet and the hood and spoiler. Could have my arm twisted on that one. We've got a top secret 350Z Nissan. We've got a Mercedes AMG GT 3, I think, by the looks of it. And we've just got a Toyota Corolla. Is it an AE86? It doesn't have the pop-up headlights.
I believe it's the RWB version of the AE86, I think.
Okay.
That's what it looks like to me anyway.
Yeah, it's got a wide body kit. So it does look a bit like the RWB 86. Nothing really apart from that pink RX-7 standing out here for me. We've also seen, another release, the Mini F40 that Liberty Walk has done.
Oh, yes. Yep. I picked that one up from Mini GT.
I never picked that one up in Mini GT. I've never been a huge fan of that one. And I think it was a tough one for Inu to replicate because I think following on from Mini GT, it's going to be a hard one to kind of sell. It's a very sort of a niche car, isn't it, that one?
It is. I think, we'll probably do a better job of it, detail-wise, than Mini GT. It's a different price point.
But
different price point.
Sure.
But yeah, it is, it's in that classic pilot livery that we've seen the F40 in before. I'm very much the same as you, mate. The RX-7 is probably what stood out for me. I do have a lot of the, RX-7s, the Liberty Walk RX-7s. You might even say I think I've got all of them, actually, including the chasers. What I like about, because obviously Mini GT have done these as well, and I have those as well. What I think, has done really well with these is capturing the stance. The stance is immaculate on these from, they don't roll, but they look awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
Whereas obviously the Mini GT, because it rolls, has more of a wheel gap. So, look, I'd be pretty keen on that one, I reckon, from,
Yeah, nice. The one that probably did catch my eye as a resin model from Inu looks like we have a Liberty Walk Ferrari coming out from Inu 64, and I'm going to call it, I don't have the name of the Ferrari, it looks like a 348 Ferrari Liberty Walk wide body kit. Agreed?
Looks like a 512 to me.
Is it a Testarossa or is it this is look at this. We're at another crossroads here, and I'm going to call it a 348 and you're going to call it a Testarossa. I think you could be right. It has got the pop-up headlights. Yeah, let's confirm this. It's either a 512 Testarossa or a 348.
To be honest.
Yeah, we haven't seen one of these from Liberty Walk yet, so it's a as a model. So I think this could be a first in the 164 diecast scene. We've got another Ferrari Liberty Walk, which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did a whole suite of the F40 Liberty Walks, which I have all of as well, including the chasers. So this might just start another run.
I'm just looking at my. It does look very similar to a 512 Testarossa, so you may have me on this one.
I think I do, but I've lost that many of these small battles to you, Ben, that I'm not confident anymore. I will say nothing with any sure confidence.
That was one I wasn't confident on. So
I've gone down in flames too many times. Mate, we also saw from that cool car show, we alluded to it earlier in the show, a bunch of releases from GCD, a crazy amount, in fact. A standout for me, certainly caught my eye, and I'm sure it caught many people's eyes, was the Liberty Walk truck. We saw a Continental theme, which looked quite cool. They also did one in like an army green that looked quite good. I can't remember the branding on it.
Might have been a Darwin Pro.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're on the money there. And then we also saw a special edition exclusive to the show, a crossover or a collaboration is the word I'm looking for, with DAD. And this truck is covered in diamantes. So if you don't know the DAD brand, then you probably haven't hung around the VIP scene, the Japanese VIP scene. But this is a very popular brand in that scene, and everything is covered in diamantes. All of their products are, gear sticks and all these sorts of things that are they're all very diamantes.
Yeah, this thing's crazy. This is just taken diecast. This is like when diecast goes out of control because people just starting to run out of ideas. Those poor people in the factory having to, hand glue every single diamond onto this truck.
And they've done 1,200 of them. So
1,200. Was this a show exclusive? Is this what this one was?
Apparently.
Okay.
That's what I hear. That's probably why there was all those riots and they, closed the place down. Everyone wants that Diamante truck. But yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I wonder what the retail on this thing was and what the resale price will be as well.
Be interesting. It'd be interesting. Even the box looks like it's something else.
It's glycerine, isn't it, that picture? Yeah.
But yeah, look, we've seen all manner of different trucks from GCD in just unpainted castings. They've got farm trucks, they've got garbage trucks, fuel tankers, all sorts.
Yeah, oh man, this like they've done. There's even a lot of resin models. They've got a lot coming out. GCD has a lot of stuff. They've been going hard over at GCD. Even I was looking at through some of the resin models. I didn't even know what half of them were. It looks like they're doing some quite unique cars, as they do with their trucks.
Yeah.
And
Spot
yeah,
on.
like you said, farm trucks. They've got a little bus there.
Yeah.
Tow trucks, little sort of like mini dump truck with a tilt back tray. The one that stood out for me was the little fuel truck. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
I'll be getting that one for sure.
Yeah. Look, I'm super keen to see some of these, in painted versions. We're just looking at raw diecast at the moment, but I'm sure they'll be epic. GCD do a really good model. So I'm looking forward to seeing, brands like GCD, Motor Helix, we've spoken about them a fair bit as well. Like they're doing a lot, and they're really making a name for themselves in the market at that higher end. So it's good to see.
Yeah, something we didn't cover. We didn't put it in the show notes. There's another brand called LCD, I believe it is, and they've got some. Even though there's a lot of brands stepping it up, and they've got removable front and rear pieces, engine, high engine details, and there's a lot going on in the 164 world at the moment. It's absolutely wild. A lot of brands trying to make a name for themselves.
The other thing,
even BMC, I saw BM Creations seem like they're stepping it up with a few new models as well that look really cool too.
Yeah. The other thing we spoke about, obviously, the Diamantes being over the top. Wayne, again, from Pop Race UK, I was talking to him, and he was telling me about a model that he's ordered recently where the chase actually is 24 karat gold.
Okay.
Obviously, there's not many of them, but you have a chance of getting a 24 karat gold chase. I can't remember the brand.
Okay.
Can't remember the brand.
No, fair enough.
But yeah, I think it's not the whole car. I think it's like the chassis is 24 karat gold or something like that. But I just went, what? That's crazy. But anyway, yeah, there's some brands doing some crazy stuff out there.
There is, sure. Yeah, definitely. Another brand, we haven't talked, I don't even know if we've ever talked about this brand, but this brand is called Almost Real.
Yes, familiar with it, but I don't think we've spoken about it on the podcast.
Yeah, Almost Real. I know they're very strict with licensing over there, so they do get all licensed products. They've done a lot of BMWs in the past, Mercedes as well. I have got a BMW Need for Speed Most Wanted M3, and theirs is the only one that does actually roll. Super cool model. What we're looking at here is it looks like they're doing the Land Rover / Defender Camel series.
Yeah, okay.
And we've got quite a few models here, different Land Rover models, all in the camel liveries, all with the accessories on it. And I'm going to put it out there and say, yeah, they look more detailed than the Mini GT ones, but they will fetch a higher price as well. Looks like they must have the Land Rover license because they've got little Land Rover Defenders just in standard colours, and I do love a Land Rover Defender, so I'm thinking I'm going to be all over this series. What are your thoughts? Is this something that can be done by another brand?
Look, they've really. I'm just really taken in all the detail. They really have gone hard on the detail. They've really, I guess they're living up to the Almost Real. Like these do look like a real car. Super amount of detail. Look, I've never been huge on the camel cars, even from Mini GT, and that's probably primarily because I'm not a huge off-road four-wheel drive guy. But these, look, I can appreciate, the history behind it and certainly in this case, the detail of these is incredible. Not something still that I would run out and buy, but purely because there's always something else that I want to buy. If there wasn't so much, getting released all the time, I'd probably go and buy one of these purely just to admire the detail of it.
Yeah, look, the big one that's standing out for me, especially with Mini GT releasing the line, I get, say I get the 5-pack, I get the helicopter that drops them into the jungle. I don't need another brand that are doing something very similar, even if they are highly detailed and you're paying more for them. I think to double up in a collection would just be a little bit crazy. The one that did stand out for me, very similar to how Mini GT is doing the helicopter that drops them off, this one has a little boat and it looks like it's a little inflatable boat with ramps on it, and you drive your camel Land Rover onto the boat and then it goes across the river and takes you to the other side. If they do a model in that, that's something I would be interested in, but it looks really cool. And you'd have to think they will create it. It looks like it's been created in Diecast and will be sold. So
yeah, it
I
does.
probably will pick that up.
It does. And look, they might have been thinking on the lines of, hey, look, if we're going to do this, we're going to have to do it properly. Mini GT have got the edge right now with that whole set with the helicopter and things like that. What can we do to compete in this space? Like, it's probably not enough just to do a whole heap of detail. We probably need to get some diorama involved as well. And look, to be honest, when you're buying a camel model, it's the sort of thing that almost looks better in a diorama type setup, off-road, adventure, If you just put it on a shelf, it doesn't have the same vibe to it, does it? So, yeah, certainly looks really cool what they've done.
Yeah, so that's Almost Real. Something to check out. If you haven't seen Almost Real, go have a look. Last one, little segment that I usually take charge of, and this is our hidden gem of the week.
Yes.
And we talked about this one a little bit earlier, and you said to me, this isn't a hidden gem. This is like very kind of like, it just looks very plain like. And I thought, you know what? I kind of explained my reason why it was a hidden gem.
Yes.
But yes. This is the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 3 from Wheel Art. And the reason that I placed this one as a hidden gem, isn't out yet, but it's soon to be released. One thing I didn't really know, it looks like it comes with a key, an original key from a Mitsubishi Evo. Uncut, so it's not going to fit. You're not going to be able to steal anyone's Evo with it. I'm not sure why it comes with a key, but it is kind of like a cool little feature.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take an Evo key. Why not?
Why not?
But the reason that I've chosen this one as a hidden gem is because it has a light up system very similar to the Kyosho. So you can put it on the base and the headlights and tail lights will light up. But the thing that makes this one different is you can take it off the base and it looks like it's got a built-in, I'm not going to go too far. It's either got a built-in battery or you can plug it in and have the light running directly from the plug-in and not from the base. Yet to be confirmed, but this is the first car. I'm hoping it does have a battery in it so that you can charge it up. You can turn the lights on, sit it on your diorama, take your pictures or whatever you're doing, and it lights up without having to be on the base, which is a cool feature. So yet to be confirmed whether it's battery operated or just power cord operated, but that's the reason I've put it as a hidden gem for its very unique lighting system that it's got built into it.
Yeah, look, it is unique. I get your point in relation to that. The only thing that I would say here is it has to be a battery system. Otherwise, it's not that revolutionary. If you're just plugging a cable into it, then I'd prefer to have the cable going to a base underneath than directly into the car, personally. And then what Kyosho, I think, still has over this is, regardless of whether it has a battery or not, the detail of a Kyosho light system or not is excellent. Whereas I had a close look at these pictures of this wheel art or whatever it is, and I didn't really rate the quality or the detail of the actual model personally. It's not terrible, but I'm obviously comparing it to Kyosho because that's the other car that can light up, right? And it doesn't come anywhere close to Kyosho, I think, in my opinion. But unique anyway, especially the fact that you get a copy of someone's Evo key, and you can, you actually get a real life Evo with that as well if you can find the matching Evo to your key.
Anyway, the jury is out on this one. One thing I will say is Diecast Dude on YouTube, quite a big YouTuber. Might actually see if he's interested on coming on the show in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
He does really good reviews some very unique diecast, and I know he is going to review this piece soon, so I'll be checking it out. And if anyone else is interested, check out Diecast Dude on YouTube because he's got a pretty cool diecast channel there as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I mean, look, it'd be good to see it in a video format versus just still images. It's always better. But yeah, well, look, mate, I think that wraps us up for the. Oh no, sorry, we didn't touch on a guest question. Do we have a guest question this week? I think we did.
Guest question, audience question.
Yes, sorry, yes, audience question. It's late here.
This one is
late.
Yep. I'll run us through this one. Anyway, this one is from a very unique name, Dead Baby Turtle. Thanks for tuning
one of our
in.
biggest fans. Yep.
Not only is it an audience question, but you are our guest today. Thank you, Matt. Anyway, his question is, we'll skip the first half. Great work, whoever edited this. I think I disagree with that. Looks like a lot of effort and some trialing of new styles. Yes, Matt does do the editing, and I very much appreciate it. You do a great job.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Anyway, the question,
how do you...
Yes. How do you guys go about curating and culling your collections? I know we're all guilty of a few FOMO purchases that we later decide we don't actually need or just need to remove some less loved models to make room for new models. How do you go about this challenge? Have you done a cull yet like this?
I haven't done a major one. I think I actually responded to his comment on the channel, and I said, I'm due for one. Yeah. And I've actually been sort of, starting to go through the collection to go, what can I move on? So to be honest, I don't have a really good answer for him. I get pretty attached to a lot of the models that I've purchased. But over time, the thing that sort of prompted me to go, hey, it's probably time to do a bit of a cull, is every now and again I'll have a model in the collection that I've purchased, I guess FOMO at the time or whatever it was, whatever reason it was that I purchased. And then I think now, looking at the collection as a whole, I go, that model doesn't really fit with the rest of the collection. So for that reason, I would potentially look at moving it on. Standalone, if that was, modeled by itself, it would be all right, but it just doesn't fit with the rest of the collection for me. That's a reason why I would cull a particular model. A classic example of ones that I have moved on, I might have one car from a full set and I don't have anything else from the set. And for me, I'll go, you've at least got to have a couple from the set. I don't know. It has to be a pretty special car to not be part of a collection, if that makes sense. Anyway, it's probably my answer to it. I'm due to do one, so I'll let you know.
I guess there's almost two parts to this question for me. The FOMO purchases. Sometimes I do a FOMO purchase, and then sometimes I do a purchase, so let's say an AliExpress purchase, that I get it and I'm like, oh, well, I can see straight away through the box. I was like, oh, this actually isn't as good as I thought it would be.
Yeah. Okay.
There's definitely been I've actually got a few Kaido houses that I've purchased and they've rocked up. I've got the box and thought, that was a bit of an impulse buy. I'm not opening that. Put it to the side. It goes in a box to the side. I'll sell that later. They're still all in the boxes because can I be bothered selling anything? No.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. Yeah.
When it goes to culling, there's definitely a few cars in my collection and I'll go through my displays, especially when I get a new car. I'll put that one in and I'll go, well, that one, I never really loved it that much. So I've got some more cases over that side and it goes into the holding case to be then removed later down the track when I fill that up with some Hot Wheels or something like that.
Yep.
And it kind of goes into the holding case, but ready to be gone again. can I be bothered trying to sell this stuff? Probably not. I've got a lot of Hot Wheels and stuff that I do want to sell, and I do actually want to do a market stall and try and get rid of some of this stuff at some point, make some videos while I'm doing it. But it's a lot of effort, isn't it, trying to sell stuff and dealing with people?
It really is. I've sold stuff predominantly to mates, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Like I cannot be bothered most of the time with marketplace or Facebook groups and all that sort of jazz. Typically when I've sold stuff, it's been to mates, and it's either somebody to come in and see the collection and gone, oh, I really like that. And I'm going, you know what? I don't really have much of an attachment to it. It's yours, Yeah. I probably give away more than I sell.
Yeah. I was definitely going to say, you and me would definitely not make good scalpers, that's for sure.
Terrible scalpers. So. Yeah. No, terrible scalpers. The other thing actually that I have sold models before for is every now and again I'll have a model, and it's not like I have a lot of these, but every now and again I'll have a model that I just go, that to me is a $20 model. Well, that's the value of that model to me. But for some reason, it's worth $600 now. I'm going to sell it. Like I've got no emotional attachment to it. I just happen to end up with it in my collection. Like sometimes I'll sell a model just because, like the value, I'm like, I would never spend $600 on that. So I'd rather put the $600 in my pocket and buy some models that I actually do really want. When that one, like if I had a Hot Wheels Rexy, I go for crazy money, would absolutely have I've got no emotional attachment or desire to have one. I don't have one, but I don't have any desire to have one. So if I did have one, I'd probably sell it because, people are paying crazy money for this. I'll sell it. Oh, you can have mine. I don't need it.
Yeah, I mean, something that rings a bell is we talked about it last episode with the Mini GT Liberty Walk R35 being a bit of a sloppy casting, and I had an older one. And, I knew someone that really liked it. I actually thought, it was probably worth $100 or something. And I just thought, you know what? They love their R35s. I'm just going to give it to them as a gift. Like, I think I bought it for like $30. So I was just like, I'm the same. Just because something's worth a lot of money doesn't make it valuable to me at all.
Yeah. Which is probably it's probably the mark of a true collector versus, somebody who's in it to make a quid down the track. It's certainly not why I got into the hobby. I wish that I got into the hobby for that reason, because I'd probably be richer. But anyway, it's not. Instead, it just takes money from me. There's very rarely money going back into the wallet. It's always going out. But anyway, appreciate the question from Dead Baby Turtle. It sounds like he has a cull on his hands soon, by the sound of that.
Yeah. Just like those turtles, that collection's on the way out too.
Yeah, correct. Spot on. I sometimes wonder with people's like YouTube names and stuff, like, was that like a name that he, recently set on purpose, thought it was funny or, whatever else, and that's how he came up with that YouTube name? Or was it like one that started, when he was 12 and first signed up to a YouTube account, he's just had it ever since? He's just like, whatever.
Look, put it in the comments for us anyway if you're watching, because you do have a picture of a dead baby turtle as your profile, like a cartoon one. So,
tell us the origin story. We're interested to hear the origin story of the dead baby turtle handle. And he will listen. He listens every episode. He's always there in the comments letting us know. So we appreciate it. And also, dead baby turtle, if we don't have the episode, like if it's not out when it usually would be out, he's on to me like, hey, where's the episode? I'm hanging for it. It's like a cracky for a Diecast podcast episode. It's like, just calm him down, like, I'll be here tomorrow. It's going live tomorrow. All right. No, he's a legend. All right, mate. Well, I think that wraps us up, I reckon, for episode 13. A fair bit to go through. Obviously, there's a lot of events and that sort of thing lately. But yeah, as always, love talking Diecast with you, mate.
Yeah, been a pleasure. Once again, thank you. Cheers, mate.
See you on the next one.